Hello everyone. So in this video we will learn how to send personalized certificate for your bakery course on internship completion automatically. So the idea is that when a new form is submitted by an intern, the details of that form submission will be used to create a certificate from a default Google Slide template, and this certificate will be stored in the Google Drive and also shared with the intern. But the problem here is there is actual no connection between Google Forms, Google Slides and Google Drive. So in cases like these, we have to bring an integration and automation software called as Pabbly Connect that will integrate Google Forms, Google Slide and Google Drive. The best part of using Pabbly Connect is a person without any technical background can perform this little integration easily. Now before I show you the steps, how about we begin with a real-time example. Okay, so this is my Google form. It has been titled Sunrise Bakery Certificate Form. So the idea is that when a respondent fills this form, he will be getting a certificate from me. So this certificate is developed using Google Slides and it will be stored in my Google Drive. At the same time, the respondent will be getting the certificate on his email address. So let us do the experiment. So we have a guy called as 𝗪𝗵𝘆, okay, and this is the email address of 𝗪𝗵𝘆, and this is the phone number, a bunch of random numbers. And the submission has been made by a person called as 𝗪𝗵𝘆. So let's have a look. Do we have the certificate of 𝗪𝗵𝘆 in his email address? So this is the email profile of 𝗪𝗵𝘆. Okay, so this is the same email that we have filled on Google form, and this is the email profile. So let me just refresh this page. Okay, so in a matter of seconds, we will have this email containing the PDF. Okay, so as you can see, 𝗪𝗵𝘆 has got an email, and when he clicks on this this email, he will be getting a certificate. So this is the PDF of the certificate from Sunrise Bakery. Sunrise Bakery, congratulations new baker. So basically 𝗪𝗵𝘆 has completed his internship, and that is why he has got this certificate. So as you can see, we had filled the name, okay, and that is why the name is available in this certificate. Okay, so you must be thinking, how did I do it? How did I manage to send the data from Google Forms to Google Sheets to Google Drive to Gmail? So basically here we have used an integration and automation software called as Pabbly Connect that has integrated Google Forms to Google Sheets to Google Drive and Google Slides and to Gmail. So let me show you how it's done, but before I show you, let me just show you a small perspective how this integration will be performed. Okay, so to begin the process, in the new tab, just type pabbly.com, 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 press enter. Okay, so this is the website of pabbly.com. Now you have an obvious question, why the hell are we working on incognito mode? Well, the integration of Google Forms involves creation of Google Sheets. Now, if you're working with Google Sheet, you should know that if you have multiple Gmail accounts and working with Google Sheets, there will be a problem of authentication. So to avoid authentication errors during integration of Google Sheets, it is always advisable that you work in incognito mode. Okay, so this is the website. All you have to do is just click on sign up for free. Here you can build your own account in just 2 minutes. In my case, I have already built an account, so I will be straight away directed to the app section of Pabbly. So this is the app section of Pabbly. Scroll down and here you will find connect. Just click on access now. Okay, so at the top right corner, you will find a button, create workflow. Click this, a dialog box appears in front of you. It is asking you to give a name to this workflow. Now I'm planning to give it as Google Forms, okay, to Google Slide. Now using Google Slide, we will be creating the presentation certificates to Google Drive. Now in Google Drive, we will be storing those certificates to, let's say, Gmail. We will be sending the email or sharing the link via Gmail. Okay, so let me just straight away click on create. Of course, you can give any name according to your discretion. It's totally on you. You don't really have to give this big name. Okay, so as you can see, you have 2 windows, the trigger window as well as the action window. Now I want to send the data from Google Forms, the respondents data. So that is why I'm just going to enter Google Forms. Now in the trigger event, how about we make it as new response in spreadsheet? Now you do have an obvious question, why the trigger event is new response in spreadsheet? It should be something like new response generated in Google Forms. Why spreadsheet? As I mentioned, the integration of Google Forms to Pabbly Connect involves creation of Google Sheet. Now this is how it's done. Okay, so this is how the integration is going to work. In the first step, you are going to integrate Google Forms and Pabbly Connect with help of webhook URL. technically you are going to integrate Google Sheets and Pabbly Connect. But we will deal with that later. Now in the second step, you're going to collect the response data in Pabbly Connect from Google Forms. Now in the third step, you're going to create a certificate from a default template present in Google Slide. After that, you're going to store that certificate as a PDF in Google Drive and send it to the respondent. So once this integration is complete, all you have to do is just sit back and relax, because whenever a new submission is made in Google Forms, automatically a certificate will be sent as a PDF on the person's email address. So first of all, let me just go to my Google form. So this is a new Google form that I'm building, 𝗪𝗵𝘆 𝗣𝗯𝗯𝗪𝗓, and this is again the internship form. And we are having the fields like name, and then we have email, and let's add one more field, age. Okay, earlier that form didn't have this field, age, and of course the phone number. Okay, so we have all those details. So what's next? So the idea is that we are going to integrate this particular form to Pabbly Connect. So before we begin the integration process, there is a small thing that we have to do. First of all, we have to make sure that the last field is required. Okay, the phone number field is required. Now what we're going to do here is, I'm just going to click on responses. In the responses, you will find an icon called as create spreadsheet. So let me just click here. And it is asking, should it create a new spreadsheet? Just click on create. So the idea is that whenever the form is submitted, the details of that particular form will be available in the spreadsheet. As you can see, we have the same columns, name, email, age, as well as the phone number. Along with that, we have the timestamp. Timestamp basically means the time at which the data was collected or when the form was submitted by the respondent. So what we're going to do here is, first of all, when the form submission is made, the data of the form submission will come here, and from here it will be sent to Pabbly Connect. So technically we are going to integrate this Google Sheet to Pabbly Connect, and this is how it's done. You go to add-ons. So when you click on add-ons, you will find an add-on called as Pabbly Connect Webhooks. Now since you're beginning fresh, you won't find this add-on. So just click on get add-ons. So when you click on get add-ons, Google Workspace Marketplace opens up in front of you. In the search, just type Pabbly Connect Webhooks, this one. As you can see, this is already installed in my system. Just click on Pabbly Connect Webhooks and Pabbly Connect Webhooks will be installed in your Google Sheet also. Now remember this, after installing Pabbly Connect Webhooks, do not forget to refresh your Google Sheet. I repeat this again, after installing Pabbly Connect Webhooks, do not forget to refresh your Google Sheet. So I'm cancelling this, okay. Going back to add-ons, Pabbly Connect Webhooks, and just click on initial setup. So this is the window of initial setup. Here we have to enter two fields, the webhook URL as well as the trigger column. The webhook URL is this. Okay, let me just copy this. Okay, and after that, let me just paste it here. Okay, so now let me just enter the trigger column. The trigger column is always the last data entry column. As you can see, column E. Column E is our last data entry column. So that is why I'm just going to mention the trigger column as column E. Okay, so we have entered the webhook URL. So let me just check, did we enter the correct webhook URL? MSI3D, yes, we have entered the correct webhook URL. Also, we have mentioned the trigger column as column E. Let me just straight away click on submit. So the form has been submitted. I'm sorry, the window has disappeared. Okay, now what? Now there is a minor thing else you have to do. Go back to add-ons, Pabbly Connect Webhooks, just click on send on event. So this will ensure that anytime column E is filled, it will keep on sending the data to Pabbly Connect. And Pabbly Connect is ready to accept the data. Okay, it is ready to capture the data. So what we are going to do here is, we are just going to click on preview and we are going to make one dummy form submission. So let's go with this guy. Okay, I'm going to take you to an email profile of a person called as 𝗪𝗵𝘆. Okay, so this is the guy's name, 𝗪𝗵𝘆, and this is the email address. So I'm just going to copy the email address. Okay, the reason is we are going to send the PDF of the certificate to this guy on his email address. So the name of the guy is 𝗪𝗵𝘆. Okay. Then we have the email address. So this is the email address and we have pasted it. This is something we have copied earlier. He's 45 years old and this is his phone number. Okay, that's too big. And let me just straight away click on submit. The form submission has been made. So now the data of this form submission will be available in Google Sheet. As you can see, we have the name 𝗪𝗵𝘆, we have the email address, we have the age, and we have the last column as phone number, and we do have the phone number. And this is the time at which when this data entry was made. So as you can see, the trigger column, column E, has been filled. Now since Pabbly Connect is integrated with this Google Sheet, let's have a look whether Pabbly Connect has captured this detail or not. As you can see, we do have the detail. We have the name, that is 𝗪𝗵𝘆. This is the email address, 𝗪𝗵𝘆6@gmail.com. This is the age 45 and this is the phone number. And this is of course row index 2. So what is row index 2? The row index 2 basically means this is the same row from where we have got the data. That is row number 2. Awesome. Now what? Now what we're going to do here is using this data, we are going to create a presentation from a template. And we are going to create this presentation from what? Google Slide. So let's create a window to establish a connection with Google Slide. So this is the action window and let me just add Google Slide. Google Slide it is. Okay, so now before we deal with Google Slide, there is a small thing that we have to do. Now, as you can see, let me just straight away take you back to the certificate. Okay, let me just straight away take you back to the certificate. And as you can see, all the certificates denote the date. Okay, basically it shows the date when the certificate was awarded. So as you can see, this is the date when the certificate was awarded. So my point is, we also have to establish the current date when this certificate is going to be sent. Okay, when this certificate is going to be awarded. So that is why, first of all, we are going to establish the current time. And what I'm going to do here is, instead of Google Slide, let me just introduce datetime formatter. Okay, datetime formatter, because we want to establish the current time. Okay, now in the action event, let me just establish current date. Okay, and straight away just click on connect. Now the format we are looking for is this one, day, month and year. Okay, this is the most human readable type of format. Now, should we include time in the response? No, we don't want time in response. So at this point, all you have to do is just click on save and send test request to establish the current date. So that is 12th of August 2021. Okay, so this particular detail will come here. Okay, I hope it is getting clear. That's the reason we have established the current date, I'm sorry. Now we are going to deal with presentation from Google Slides. So we have introduced one more action window. All you have to do is just click on this plus button and you can keep on creating more action windows. Google Slides it is. Now in the action event, all you have to do is just click on create presentation from template. Just simply click on connect. We are going with a new connection. Just click on connect with Google Slides. Okay, so my Google Slide is present in this account. I'm working with this account. Okay, so now Pabbly Connect wants access. So before you click on continue, let me just remind you something. Pabbly Connect doesn't take any chances with your data. Your data is 100% safe and secure with us. So on the basis of that trust, let me just press continue. Authorization successful. Brilliant. Okay, so we have 3 fields: the template presentation, the title of the new presentation, and new presentation location. Now the idea is that we will have a slide, okay, and from that slide, which is also known as the template, we are going to create a presentation, or basically our certificate. I repeat this again. We are going to create a template first, and from that template, we are going to create the certificates. Okay, so let me just straight away take you to my Google Slide, and we are going to start with the blank, or how about we just go to the template gallery. Okay, and this is the one for certificate. So we select this student certificate. Now, of course, the process will work with any kind of template, but I'm happy with this kind of template for certificates. So let me just remove this because the globe doesn't really fit with the idea of a bakery. So I have removed it, and let me just insert an image. Okay, so this will be on cakes and all that stuff. So let me just introduce this image for cakes. Okay, so let me just paste it here. Okay, we have added it here. Oh, excellent. Now we have to make some changes here. First of all, let me just add the name of the bakery. So the name of the bakery is Snow White Bakery. So let me just insert a text. Snow White Bakery. Okay, that's done. And let me insert bigger font sizes. Okay, I think that would work. Snow White Bakery. Or should we go more? Snow White Bakery. And let me just bold this. And I'm planning to give it a very pinkish color. Okay, so pink. How about this one? A slight more pinkish. Okay, because the name is Snow White, so you really can't give match colors. So pink it is. Now that's blue. Okay, this is more appropriate. Snow White Bakery, but it's a bit dull again. So let me just bold this. How about this one? Okay, let me just select them all, and okay, I think this is better. Okay, this is fixed. So this is, I think, maroon or pink color, I don't know. Okay. Okay, so now let me just remove this. Okay, congratulations, 5th grade star. That's not really congratulations. Okay, it shows quite excitement. And let me just increase the font size. Okay, Snow White Bakery says congratulations. And let me just remove this. Okay, that's done. And after that, for finishing the internship, for acing the internship at Snow White Bakery, keep up the great work. Okay, keep up the great work. That will do. One more exclamation mark. Okay, so this is how it will look. Snow White Bakery, congratulations for acing the internship at Snow White Bakery. Keep up the great work. And let me just remove the school name. We don't really need it. And this certificate will be given by the manager. And his name is Gil Jones. Okay, so let me just drag this to the extreme left. And we have the date. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, the date will come here. Okay, for acing the internship at Snow White Bakery, keep up the great work. Okay, that's enough. So what's next? So this is the template that we were talking about. Okay, so we have built a template. That's excellent. Now using this template, we are going to create the certificates. So first of all, let me just go back to Pabbly Connect. Okay, and let me just first name the certificate. Okay, how about cake certificate template? Cake certificate template. Okay, so this is the name of this particular template. Now using this template, we are going to create a ton of certificates. So let me just go to Pabbly Connect and let me just refresh this. Okay, so when I click on refresh, I can expect to find this newly created template in the dropdown. So these are all the slides that is present in my Google Drive. Now I'm interested in working with this one, cake certificate template. So I have selected it. Okay, so the whole point of this window is using this particular template, we are going to create a certificate. I mean a lot of certificate. So this will be our prototype. So now what we are going to do here is I'm going to introduce you to the concept of dynamic tags. So first of all, I'm going to show you a magic. So let me just enter 2 pairs of curly bracket. Inside the pair of curly bracket, let me just add name. Okay, easy. So let me just go back to Pabbly Connect. As you can see, at present we only have 3 fields. Okay, 1, 2 and 3. Now let me just refresh this. Okay, so as you can see, we have one more field for name. We created a dynamic tag with the name inside it, and as you can see, we have a field for name. Okay, I hope it is getting clear now. Now I'm going to introduce one more dynamic tag for date. Okay, 2 pairs of curly brackets. Inside the pair of curly bracket, let me just add date. Okay, once again, let me just go to Pabbly Connect, and once again, let me just refresh this. Okay, so as you can see, we have one more field for date. Okay, now the idea is that using this particular template, we are going to create a certificate. Now this certificate should have a name. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to click here. Okay, I'm just going to click here. First of all, I'm just going to map the row index. Okay, so this is the row index, that is 2. Okay, and dash, and I'm going to add the name of the respondent. So this will be a very unique name. Okay, first of all, I have the row index, that is 2, and also the name of the respondent. Okay, 2-Netripathi, that will be the name of our certificate. Now, if there is a guy called as Elon Musk who has filled the certificate, the details of Elon Musk will be added in row number 3. So the certificate name will be 3-Elon Musk. I hope it is getting clear now. So if you don't understand, it's totally fine, because when the certificate is eventually created, you will understand all of it. Okay, don't worry. Now, when the certificate will be created from this particular template, it has to be stored somewhere. Now, of course, I'm going to store it in my Google Drive. Okay, that's pretty obvious. But I want to create a new folder for it. So let me just create a new folder. So this is my Google Drive. So first, let me just create a new folder. So the name of the folder is Snow White Bakeries. Okay, that would be enough. Snow White Bakeries. Let me just first click on create. So a new folder has been created called as Snow White Bakeries. This is the folder. Let me just click here. Now when the certificate will be created, it will be inserted here. So we have to make sure, we have to tell Pabbly Connect that we have to insert the newly created certificate in this particular folder, that is Snow White Bakeries. So when, as you can see in the new presentation location, it is showing all the folders that is present in my Google Drive. Now I'm interested in working with this particular folder, Snow White Bakeries. So let me just refresh this field. And as you can see, we have this newly created folder, that is Snow White Bakeries, in the dropdown. So I have selected it. Now what we are going to do here is, I'm just going to enter the name as well as the date, and when I click on save and send test request, it will create a certificate with the name 𝗪𝗵𝘆 𝗣𝗯𝗯𝗹𝘆 and also add the date, and this particular certificate will be stored in this particular folder, that is Snow White Bakeries. Let me show you how it's done. So I'm just going to add the name. So this is the name 𝗪𝗵𝘆 𝗣𝗯𝗯𝗹𝘆, okay, and then we have the date. So this is the date that we have established and we have mapped it. Now if you are wondering where this name came from, so the name came from here, 𝗪𝗵𝘆 𝗣𝗯𝗯𝗹𝘆, okay, from the trigger window. And if you're wondering where the date came from, the date came from this action window related to datetime formatter. We had established the current date. So this is the date. So when I click on save and send test request, it will create a certificate from this particular template. So I think the response is a positive one. Okay, as you can see, it is giving the presentation ID. That's a good sign. Okay, so what's next? Let me just show you the certificate that has been created. So this is the certificate. Okay, as you can see, we have a slide. Okay, Snow White Bakery, congratulations, 𝗪𝗵𝘆 𝗣𝗯𝗯𝗹𝘆, and this is the date. So now what we're going to do here is, we have to make sure that this particular certificate is in a PDF form. Okay, because we really don't know how to share it via as a slide. That doesn't look professional. We don't share certificate as slides. We share certificates as PDF. So first we are going to make sure that we upload this particular slide as a PDF in my Google Drive. So let me just go to Pabbly Connect. Now, of course, we want to share this certificate, but before we create a PDF, actually, as you can see, this file has a lock on it. Okay, as you can see, there is a lock on it, and it is showing private to only me. So what's the point of building a certificate if we can't share the certificate? So we have to remove this lock sign, and let me show you how it's done. So you click on this plus sign to introduce one more window. Now this particular certificate in slide form is stored in my Google Drive. So let me for the first time add Google Drive. Okay, so we do have the app for Google Drive. Now in the action event, how about we make it as share with anyone? Share a file with anyone. This one, okay, that's pretty much obvious. We want to make sure that this file, this slide is a shareable one. So let me just click on connect with Google Drive. So again, this is the account that we are working with. Okay, so let me just straight away click on continue. Authorization successful, brilliant. So by default, it is showing the file ID as 𝗪𝗵𝘆 𝗣𝗯𝗆, 2-𝗪𝗵𝗆 𝗣𝗆. Okay, so I forgot to tell you that this is the name of the certificate, that is 2-𝗪𝗵𝗆 𝗣𝗆. This is something that I should have told you earlier. Okay, so as I mentioned that we will be naming the slide as 2-𝗪𝗵𝗆 𝗣𝗆. Okay, that is why we have the slide name as 2-𝗪𝗆 𝗣𝗆. Now it is asking that what is the file that you want to make sure that it becomes a shareable one. Now the file ID by default it is showing 2-𝗪𝗆 𝗣𝗆. That's definitely the file that we want to create as a shareable one. But the problem here is at present it's a static form. Okay, this thing can't be changed. So we want a dynamic one because more people will be submitting the form and more certificates will be created. It won't be just 𝗪𝗆 𝗣𝗆. There will be a lot of people. So first of all, let me just toggle this to the right. Okay, and as you can see, it is showing a file ID. Okay, so this is the same file ID. Okay, so when this certificate was created using this particular file, okay, with this particular template, it also generated an ID. So this is the unique ID of this particular template. So what I'm going to do here is we actually have to map this particular detail here. Okay, so first of all, let me just remove this. Okay, let me just remove this. Click on the third accordion and let me just add the presentation ID. So this is the dynamic ID we want. Okay, I repeat this again. The reason why we are doing this is because, as you can see, this is the when this certificate was created, okay, in the slide form, it generated a unique ID. So this is the unique ID. Basically, it's saying that this is the name 2-𝗪𝗏 is also the same thing, that is this ID. But Pabbly Connect prefers you add the dynamic one. Okay, so this is the ID that we have added. So when I click on save and send test request, at present the log has changed from the status has changed from log to a shareable one. Earlier it was containing a log that you can't share it, it is only private to only me, but now it is showing anyone with a link can access this file. Awesome, that's the thing that we want. Now there are many other things that we have to see. So it is showing drive anyone with a link. Okay, awesome. And this is the name of the slide. Okay, that's obvious. Now, as you can see, we do have a ton of choices. You can share it as a PDF. Okay, you can share it as a XML format. You can share it as a text plain. Okay, now I want to share it as a PDF. So first of all, what we are going to do here is we are going to upload this particular certificate as a PDF. At present, we have as a slide. So first we are going to upload in our Google Drive as a PDF, and this is how it's done. Okay, so first let me just click on this plus button to create one more action window, and let me just add Google Drive. Google Drive it is. Okay, so now in the action event, how about we make it as share a file? I'm sorry, upload a file. Upload a file, this one, because we are going to create a PDF and then upload it into our Google Drive. So let me just create a click on connect. Let's go with the new connection. Just click on connect with Google Drive. Once again, the same process. Just click on continue. Authorization successful. Okay, now we have to fill 3 fields: the URL, the folder ID, and the file name. So the URL is this. Okay, this is the URL that we want. Okay, this is the same URL we want. Just bear with me, you will understand in a minute. You click here, you click here, and we have mapped the URL. So easy. Okay, then what's next? Now we have to mention the folder ID. Now of course we have created a folder for this particular slide. Okay, as you can see, this is the folder 𝗪𝗏 𝗪𝗍𝗧. Now when a PDF will be created, actually there will be a ton of PDF created for each respondent from our Google Forms. So that is why I'm planning to create a new folder for storing these PDFs. So let me just straight away go to my home page of my Google Drive, and let me just click on new folder. Okay, and the folder name will be PDF 𝗪𝗏 𝗪𝗍𝗧. Okay, PDF 𝗪𝗏 𝗪𝗍𝗧, and let me just straight away click on create. Awesome. Okay, so where is that particular folder? So PDF 𝗪𝗏 𝗪𝗍𝗧. So as you can see, this is the ID of that particular folder. Okay, this is the ID of that particular folder. I'm just going to copy this. After that, I'm just going to simply paste it here. Now you have a question. Why the hell this time you are adding the static ID? The reason is the folder won't change. Okay, this particular folder will never change. As you can see, more and more PDF will be added, but the folder will not change. Okay, that is why I have added the static ID. This is the folder ID. Now, when the PDF will be created, we actually have to name that particular PDF, a very unique name. So for each PDF, I'm going to figure out a way to add a unique name, and this is how you add the unique name. Let me just go to the profile, okay, and let me just add the age of the guy, and or you can go with the phone number, that will also work. Sneha Tripathi. Only thing is that you should have a very unique name. At the same time, you can easily recognize it. Okay, at the same time, you should also add the extension .pdf, because we are going to create a PDF. So let me just click on save and send test request. Okay, so once again, the response is a positive one. So when I go to this particular window, actually you can see a new PDF has been created of this particular certificate that will be rewarded to 𝗪𝗵𝗆 via Gmail. Okay, so as you can see, this is the slide and this is the PDF version of it. Awesome. And also we have uploaded it. Now we are going to send this particular PDF to 𝗪𝗵𝗆. So let me just introduce one more window. I promise you this is the last window. It's over. Okay. And let me just add Google Drive. Okay. We are going to share it via Google Drive. Now in the action event, how about make it as share a file? Share a file. This one. Simply just click on connect. Go with a new connection. Connect with Google Drive. This is the account. Okay. Just click on continue. Authorization successful. Brilliant. Now it is demanding the file ID. Okay, now this is something you are well versed now. As you can see, when this file was created, it also generated a unique file ID, and this is the unique file ID we want. Okay, so we are just going to map this particular detail here. So let me just remove this. Okay, and let me just add the file ID. So this is the file ID and we have mapped it. Now let me just add the email address. So this is the email address where we'll be sending the email, and we have mapped it. So easy. Now since this is a certificate, it hardly matters if the respondent can just view or edit or comment. Let's keep it as view. Just click on save and send test request to finally send this PDF to the respondent. So the response is a positive one. So let's have a look. Do we have this particular particular certificate to this person, that is 𝗪𝗵𝗆. Let me just refresh it. Okay, so as you can see, we do have this particular certificate. Okay, let me just open this. The email has arrived. Okay, so yes, we do have the PDF. It's from Snow White Bakery. Congratulations, 𝗪𝗵𝗆, and rest of the details and the date. Excellent. The presence of this data confirms that we have a successful integration between Google Forms, Google Drive, Google Slides, and Gmail. Now before you leave, let me just explain you the whole mechanism in a nutshell. So let me just go back to Pabbly Connect. Let me just minimize this action window. Okay. Let me just minimize this action window. Let me just minimize this action window. And finally, let me just minimize the trigger window. Okay, it was very lengthy one, but very easy. So in the first step, you have basically integrated Google Forms with the help of Google Sheet. Okay, you send the data from Google Forms to Google Sheet, and from Google Sheet, the data arrived in Pabbly Connect. And you have established the current date using Datetime formatter. Now using the data that you have collected from Google Forms, you have basically created a new slide from the template. You have created a template, and after that you have created a certificate. And after that, you have made sure that particular certificate that is in the slide form is shareable to anyone with the link. After that, you have uploaded the certificate as a PDF to your Google Drive. Now in the last step, you have shared that PDF using the share a file feature of Google Drive. So now there's a perfect flow of data between Google Forms, Google Slide, and Google Drive. Awesome. So not just these two apps, you can integrate a ton of applications and automate your business with Pabbly Connect. If you have any queries, please contact us at admin@pabbly.com. Also, the link of Pabbly Connect as well as the workflow is available in the description box. If you really like this video, please comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.